7:31, coming up was 7:32 in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to talk now about TEDx, which I always find fascinating because I don't know anything about it. But TEDx Port of Spain, it's approaching. It's in its 5th year in Trinidad and Tobago. What began as a movement to change the conversation in 2011 turned into conversations of courage in 2012 and 2013. They encourage everyone to connect 2014. So they're moving from a conversation to doing, undoing, and redoing. So what are they doing in 2015? It's off record, which means what? Well, conversations that are necessary but are ignored because we are too afraid to discuss due to its supposed sensitive nature. To tell us more about these perceived taboos, we are joined by Latoya Webster, who's the young lady further from me, and Kimiko Scott, who is making me feel very, very old right now because I've just found out that she is the daughter of a media colleague of mine, Vanessa Herbert, and when we worked up at 105 FM, and she was the little one running around in the studio all the time, and I'm wondering, where does miserable child come from? Here she is now. Good morning to you both. Good to have you here on the program with us. Let's give some of the basic information. First of all, Kimiko, as far as the TEDx Port of Spain 2015, when, where it's going to be held?
This year, because we've gotten a little larger, we're moving to Queen's Hall, and that's on October 14th. And because we are celebrating 5 years, we're doing a lot of different things. We're having the conference run from lunchtime this year, which is around 12 noon till evening time, 6 p.m. And then we're having an after party and celebration. So all of this will be included in the ticket. So October 14th, Queen's Hall, and get your tickets. It's so exciting.
Tickets at the moment, $400 up until the 18th. After that, it's going to be $500. How do people get tickets?
Well, the first place you could check is the website, TEDxPortofSpain.com, and then we've got some retail outlets that Latoya can tell us about across the country.
All right, Latoya, just give us that information.
We have 3 box offices. Guardian Life Richard Deming Agency in St. Augustine. We also have Nick's Picks, which is a female clothing store in Christina Court in Maraval. And we also have the CrossFit 12-12-12 gym in Woodbrook, Arapita Avenue, corner 26 Murray Street. So it's little after Republic Bank on Murray Street and Arapita Avenue. And
we'll make you pay for giving Republic Bank that free advertising. They have the money, they could pay for it. And for old-fashioned people like myself who still believe in a phone number and calling people to get information, is there a contact number?
So we also have 3 committee members that have tickets on hand. You can contact Irid at 790-0747.
Yeah.
You can contact Gabby at 788-1210. Or you can contact Tara at 777-8272.
Very impressive. I can remember all those numbers offhand. It's quite impressive
5
indeed.
years now.
Yes, exactly. But let's talk about that as well, Kimiko. The growth of TEDx Port of Spain, what people can look forward to. If we talk about the theme of record, conversations that are necessary but ignored because of sensitive issues, sounds like it's going to be very, very interesting in that sense. Is there enough time for one afternoon to discuss all of these issues?
TED in general has a time limit, so they ask for talks to be under 18 minutes. So for each speaker who's going to be talking, and we have some interesting people, Afro Raymond returns as we celebrate our 5th year. He's going to talk about off-record stuff, a focus on corruption and what it's done to our economy and ourselves. We've got Hulsi Bagan this year. She's going to talk about politics and her experience with it. So a lot of off-the-record speakers sharing openly, and I think it's our time to let them shine, and we're hoping to give them a platform to say things that they may not say in public, but they'll tell us.
Well, telling you is like telling the world because it goes all over the world anyway. But Latoya, in that, are the speakers going to be all there in person, or are there going to be people speaking,
so we have
teleconferencing and so on?
No, so all 10 speakers will be there in person. There would be a few that will be flown in, and these speakers have been assigned coaches, so the coaches have been working with them on a regular basis to kind of hone their conversation and make their talk the talk of their lives on the stage at Queen's Hall. And
give us a sense for, again, because I've been interviewing people about TEDx talks for 5 years now, and still it's kind of out of my league in many respects. What makes a TED talk such a big deal?
What makes a TED Talk a big deal, I think, is you have to engage people in a short time. And you've got to be interesting. So I think a lot of our speakers, both past and present, maybe they feel a pressure, which is why we help them with coaches, but it's engage your audience with a idea worth spreading, which is the concept behind TED, the worldwide organization. So engage, idea worth spreading, and this year cover the theme off record.
So we should have TED Talks in Parliament.
Yes.
It would be nice to hear them for 18 minutes saying something meaningful instead of rambling on for 75 minutes. You know, Kijan, why do you suggest that? Kijan, our producer, is always listening and chucking in with questions. I notice he's listening because he's a fan of these in TED Talks, business and so on. But Latoya, from your perspective, you've been involved in the organization and the organization of such exercises. Is the environment really dynamic and enthusiastic? Do you get a lot of reaction from the audience, or are people just sitting attentively, hanging on every word? How does it go?
It's a little bit of both, actually, because we do have a very interesting and dynamic audience from various ages. So we also target students. We also target persons from the arts, culture, business, environment, culture.
I know you breaks it from saying old people like me, but do you see people all over with a lot of grey hair and things turning up to these events?
Yes, actually we do. Because they are also interested in, what the young people have to say. And they're actually...
positive conversation.
Yeah.
It's a place to get positive conversation. And I mean, that's so hard to find.
But exactly. You're just like your mother. But in that sense, I mean, when we talk about that, obviously you rely on feedback as well, yes, as to how things go every year. Do you find that from 2011, from the first, that you've been able to refine the entire experience, that it's much more in keeping with what people are expecting in that sense, Kimiko?
I think so. I think we've grown to the point where we know the kind of speakers that our audience would like to hear, because we have a feedback form that we've sent out every year after the conference, asking what are the conversations that you're interested in, and we've started doing events throughout the year as well. This year we did taboo conversations, where we had workshops where people discussed euthanasia, people discussed death in childbirth. I mean, we had those kind of deep conversations with experts and members of the audience. So leading up to the conference, we've also engaged a lot of people, and that has grown within the last 5 years.
And Latoya, some might say as engaging as it is, as dynamic as it is, as much as it is in keeping with the international idea of the TED Talks, that is just talk for talk's sake. But what is your do you get a sense that is actually lit a spark for people who have attended and decided that they wanted to do something rather than just be talking all the time?
Yes, we have. We do have a lot of volunteers who contact us and want to be a part of it, and they always come back and always engage, so we do appreciate them for that. And
I mean, I suppose the question I'm asking really is that should there be more of these TEDx Port of Spain sort of events, as far as I mean, you don't want to do it so much that you saturate and people get bored or fed up, but do you think that the organization has been doing enough to meet the needs or the requirements of the public here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, we do want to move from ideas with spreading to ideas with doing. So we are still working on embarking on some new ideas and some new projects.
Okay, well, before time runs out on us, Kim Kwan, I know you'll appreciate, given how your mother was with time and time to go to commercials and so on, you'll appreciate that time is running out. Just remind everybody again of the event that's coming up.
We are getting ready for TEDxPortofSpain. It's at Queen's Hall this year on October 14th. It's a Wednesday, but that's no problem. We've got group specials for your company, so make sure and contact us so we can get your whole human resource department or whichever department tickets for the event. Check out the website TEDxPortofSpain.com, and you can also get tickets at...
So you can get tickets at CrossFit, 12 Gym. You can get tickets at NixPix in Maraval, and you can get tickets at Garden Life, St. Augustine, Richard Dabbing's agency. All right, and you can also call, let me read out the three numbers because I wrote them down while she was rattling them off. 790-0747, 788-1210, and 777-8272. Thanks very much for joining us. And maybe it is something that we could suggest for the Parliament. KC, the Sunshine Band, and everybody else on the opposition side. 18 minutes apiece.
with no extensions and make a meaningful contribution. That should be quite interesting indeed. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. To the mother said hello. By the way, remember the days of 105 FM, Radio Tempo, Sport and Culture, long time ago. We'll be back right after this.